Hello. Today I wanted to share an experience I had filing a bug report, or at least what I thought was a bug, right? And it turned out it was a missing build tool in my environment. And that's kind of interesting too, because to do instructional video, I usually have the bare minimum installed to show everything you might need to build a given software project. So this was different than how I normally work, right? I usually have all these tools installed and you never even think about it, which makes this even more useful or hopefully helpful to someone else who runs into a similar problem. And thank you for Tim Rühsen at wget2 for helping me understand what's really going on and sharing this with you. So this is what I ran into on a build that made me file what I thought might be a bug report. And it's saying that it cannot find a given file. And this file is present when you extract the tarball. The issue came into play when I ran make disk clean. And if we go search for tokenizer, let's go the other way. What we see, oops, not this one, there we go, is that this file gets removed. And the problem is when I go and reconfigure, because I want to start from scratch again, my system didn't have the means of creating this file, and we'll see why. And let's dig into, let's go into that libwget directory, and let's look at the make file. And if we look for CSS tokenizer, we'll see a couple little bits to back up what I'm saying. When we look in particular right here, right, libtokenizer sources. And this is what tells us something special is going on here, right? Especially when we see that a file is being deleted, right? But this lex file indicates that something is going to be built on the fly at some point, and it's going to create the CSS tokenizer.c file based on this lex file. And what that tells us is that we need a lexer, which is typically flex. And here's the other point, right? Disk clean files, CSS tokenizer C. So when I run make disk clean, you can see the actual configuration that says to remove that file because using a lexer, we'll rebuild it again during the make process, right? And so if we look at, I should have a configure script. Yeah, if we look for our lexer, it turns out when I ran my script, flex is not present. And there isn't another type of lexer, whatever this may be, but either way, I do not have a lexer on my system. So now when I run something like make disk clean, that file's removed, and that's it. Unless I install a lexer or I re-extract from the tarball, I can't build the project anymore, you know? So it was not a bug, it was missing tooling on my end. So what we can do to demonstrate that is we can install flex, and we can run the command manually. But let's go look at the make file one more time. And let's go to the end because I know it's sitting here, right? What this says right here is that whatever lexer you have, we're going to pass a couple arguments. I think the W is warn against or warn all errors, something like that. And the -O is an output file, which is our CSS tokenizer C. And then it uses this lex file to tell the lexer how to create this file that we're looking for on the fly, right? So we can do something similar, right? We can do exactly that, right? W, and then our output file is CSS tokenizer. Oh, before we do that, ls CSS, right? And we see that we don't have it, just so you can see that we make it on the fly. We do have a temp file, right? Which kind of indicates that the make process tried to do this task and it couldn't because it didn't have a lexer. And if we do css tokenizer.c.temp, you see it's empty. So that kind of implies that it tried to do something and it couldn't. Because if it could, it would probably write out all the contents of the temp file and then it would move it to the final C file. So anyway, let's do flex WO, and then we're going to do CS tokenizer.c, and we're going to use CSS tokenizer.lex as that input file. And now if we do the listing, we see CSS tokenizer C. Now we could build the project. And if we go back to our parent directory and we do make dist clean, right? I'm going to run it one more time just to show, right? And we do libwget css star. We see that we're missing that tokenizer C file, right? It did exactly what we saw in the makefile it would do. If that file is present, remove it. So now if we run configure, we're going to grep for that flex as well while this runs. If we run this, we'll see a couple things, right? We'll see that it does find a flex tool, which means now the make tool can run that instruction and create the CSS tokenizer.c file. And then, of course, after that, the make will succeed. There we go. And so now if we do a make on this, and if we do the same lsw libwget css star, there's our tokenizer file again, right? So now with that flexor in place, those makefile instructions could generate that file for us on the fly and build the project, and we're good to go. So really what it comes down to is when you start seeing that files can't be found or opened like my initial error, there might be something in your build environment, and you can get hints to what's going on, like in our case, right, where you see a .lex file. That indicates something is going to be built on the fly. And so then we can jump to the make file to see if there are any special instructions, right? That, hey, we're going to use a lexer and we're going to create that very file that we said we can't find, right? And then that's what pointed to I'm missing a flex tool. Anyway, I hope this helped, and thank you for watching, and talk to you later.